And you say third coast. Yeah. It's such a delight to be here tonight, utilizing the gift of song that I've been blessed with to bring to y'all so much joy. And you know, like I know, don't nothing bring more joy than a clean-cut New Orleans boy, huh? They say I wouldn't do it again.
Well, welcome to another episode of Concrete Reality TV, where we strive to know more and do more with what we know. I got my co-host, my brother Cool Cutter, my other brother OG2. What's up, y'all?
What up, fellas?
Is, man.
It's good to see everybody together again.
Amongst those who know better, so we do better. Let's get it.
This is our Hometown Heroes edition. So we've been interviewing guests from H-Town that have been very impactful to the city. We got today a brother, a friend. This dude is super talented. One of the best.
Straight fam, baby. Straight fam.
Man, we got Carlos, Phaz, Huey in the house. What up, Los?
Welcome.
What's happening, fellas?
Everybody knows that bounce and turn. Everybody's holding bounce and turn.
We bouncing.
Hey, that was good, E. That was a great segue, boy. That was good. I didn't even know you was going to do that.
Nah, that was a good one now, boy.
That boy did the gum beat.
Hey, you had that down to the side.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a joint. You know what's crazy, man? I got a homeboy, Kevin Pickram, man, back from in Longview. We both had the gummies heavy back then, and we were actually just talking recently, man. He was like, "Yo, you gotta come to the high school class reunion." I'm like, bruh, it's busy right now, but it's just funny seeing that Gumby. Like, man, I gotta try to go see my dude, man.
Hey, you can have the Gumby back. All you gotta do is go up in there and grow a little hair, and they're gonna put that bad boy back up like that. Got you, dog. They ready.
Yo.
Look, they can put the S curl on that thing and everything.
Put the S curl on and everything.
Yo, man, the things that they can do with hair now, bruh. Oh my goodness,
Sure.
bruh.
I call that the dude lace piece. The front lace, the dude front lace.
Yeah, the dude front lace. Yeah.
Well, let's get it cracking, man. Los, man, how you been doing, brother?
Been good, man. I've been good. Life's been good. No complaints, man. Thanks for asking.
Yes,
you
sir.
brothers
Yes,
been
sir.
okay. I see y'all been grinding, man, getting this thing popping. So,
Man, that's all we can do. We're just trying to put our little mark on this social media network.
yeah, ain't no little mark, man. You know, they want us to be modest about it, man. But hey, if you got something to offer, man, you doing what you're supposed to be doing. So
It ain't over for me. It ain't over for me.
It ain't over for me. No, it ain't over for me.
So, man, what you doing with yourself these days? Are you still into music, or are you more in the entrepreneurship side?
I'm definitely on the entrepreneurship side. I have found myself back in the entertainment realm, just doing a lot more management with a comedian client. I have a comedian and actor, Big Skinny. Been doing that now for the past few years. And just, you know, man, just trying to make moves in that, producing our own shows and doing things of that nature. And, you know, feels good to still be self-employed and having some significance in the entertainment realm. So, yeah.
Man, so now you said you're doing the comedy shows and stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was the artist's name?
Big Skinny. Big Skinny is the comedian.
I ain't never had a problem with the women, man. See, women love big boys, because they know we're going to make them laugh, and then we're going to feed their right after that.
Yeah, you can find him on all social media at Big Skinny Show. Big Skinny Show, man. He's got a lot of videos. We do a lot of stand-up that we, you know, produce the shows ourselves. But he's good, man. And the actor hooked up with him a few years ago, and we just been going at it, man. Just getting locked in on some acting and, you know, videos, movies, and just, you know, trying our hand at bringing laughter to the world, man. I did not want to get back in the game in management, but I let him open his mouth and tell me one day that I was going to be his manager. everybody on this panel knows that he got a good cussing out, because that just that was not in my cards, bro. But just being able to lend knowledge, that we all gained over the years to him and help guide him, man, and also put some ideas out there, man. It's been going good, man. I've been loving it. So
now you're in the management. You with Big Skinny. How did you end up meeting him?
Actually, we've been knowing each other all our lives. It's my cousin, actually. It's my blood relative. And, we were never really just, how you have those relatives, you grow up with them, and then you go off, you kind of go live your lives or whatever. And then one day you look up and you link back up, and you just kind of forge this whole thing that was always there, but you kind of rekindle that. And then I challenged him one day. He kept talking about this whole comedy thing, and I challenged him. And I said, if you really want to do this, you got to go hit an open mic. And challenge him. I was like, if you go hit the open mic, then we'll know you're serious about it. And he went and hit the open mic, man, and he was in love, man. You could, how you could just see when somebody just they get a taste of something and they're like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. And so once I saw he was serious about making his moves, man, I was like, you want to help people who are actually getting out, making moves for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to really be dealing with entitled individuals who think everything's supposed to come to them. And so, I liked his grind. He was serious about what he was doing, and that was it. And I mean, man, it's like it was for us, when we were in Adagio. All people have to do is put it in front of you, and after those few times, you look up, and then the dots just start to connect, and so that's what happened.
So speaking of Adagio, let's rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Before Adagio existed, you moved to Houston from where?
I was in Longview, Texas. I was actually attending high school there. I've been throughout East Texas, mostly Nacogdoches, Texas, and Longview, Texas, down in those areas. And after I, graduated high school, I ended up going to Grambling State University, playing in the band for a little bit, GSU. And,
GSU.
Yeah, and then from there, I was involved musically there as well, singing in groups and writing with some of the bros in the band. And then from there, I ended up coming to H-Town, because I had been coming here every year anyway, because I had family here. And I always loved Houston. It was just something about Houston and me. We just connected. And so I just had to get here.
Nacogdoches.
Yeah, man.
Country boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I remember. You remember we used to go sing over in Nacogdoches?
Yeah.
Man, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to visit Nacogdoches when we was in the choir
I remember
Wheeler.
Yeah.
Going to sing it at the old country church.
Mm-hmm.
Where the building was flat, straightforward. You was
that shotgun building. You can see from the front door to the back door.
It wasn't no emergency.
That shotgun building.
Yeah.
It was one way in and
with
one
no
way
air
out.
conditioning. With no air conditioning.
Yeah.
You had maybe one in the side, and then pastor had one in the back.
Yeah, the pastor had one in the pulpit. The only time you got cool when you stood up there and sung.
Yeah.
Everybody else but the pastor.
Yeah.
Everybody in the front row just look, preach, pastor.
With the fans of Martin Luther King on them.
Yeah.
Is that what you grew up in, Phaz?
Oh yeah, that was a lot of that, man. You go in the church, buildings back then, man, it was no telling. They made the most of worship in all ways. Boy, it'd be hot in some, and when you went to one that actually had, AC that kept everybody, you're like, oh, this is nice.
This is nice. Yeah.
Anytime they brought that up, hey, we going to sing at such and such. Oh yeah, I like that. Oh yes, I'm there. Yeah.
And they always had the choir stand, and then the baptism was behind the choir stand.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, it did. But you ate good after church, though.
Oh,
you ate good.
Oh, yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Come on. You ate good after church. Boy, they had that little room packed with little plates, and you had
fried chicken everywhere.
Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn.
The gospel bird has been delivered. I said the gospel bird is being delivered. Somebody say, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's funny.
Is this where it started? When did you actually find out that you had some sort of love for music?
Started early for me. My family, my mother's side of the family is very musical. They would travel around and sing a lot. My granddad would call them singing conventions. And my mother and my father both were in music. And my mom was a self-taught pianist and is anyway. And so I would sing a lot as a youth in choirs. In community choirs with the family and everything, and we would travel around and sing, and that's really where it started for me. It really started for me just singing for family and things of that nature, man. Used to get out and perform, and for us, Michael Jackson was a big influence, so just a lot of singing and dancing when I was young, man, and most of that I did in the church growing up. So
Carlos, Carlos, when you start singing for the girls, take all that one of the calls they pay for the girls.
Hey,
you know how it was.
Hey, even when you were young, you were still singing for the girls, even if it was in church. You be in the choir singing for the girl. Boy, once you saw the attention you got, you thinking, yo, I'm just doing what I do. I sing. But boy, once you see them little honeys checking you out and they whispering to each other, oh boy, you got some extra runs and everything.
Exactly. And
hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen who watch this, let me tell y'all something. Carlos being real modest. He said he sing. That nigga can sing. That nigga just can flat out sing. I ain't even lying about it. I ain't on that. Look, that's my brother. That nigga can sing. Nigga.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
That's
before Mr. Take Your Girl, that was Carlos Phaz. He would take your girl too, nigga. Yeah. Trey stole it from him. Let's do that.
I'm gonna definitely touch on that part on my personal experience here in Phaz, but we're gonna continue. So you moved to H-Town.
Mm-hmm.
Who was your first connect? What was the first musical connection you had?
It's really kind of difficult to say because at that time, man, in H-Town, everybody knew everybody. Right. So if you were in entertainment in H-Town, man, you knew everybody. And so we were all essentially connected in some way. You know what I mean? Like you would meet people and you look up and you go, oh, I know this guy or I know this guy, and I met a guy in my dad's barbershop at the time. And, I told him I was, trying to get into music. And the guys in the barbershop linked me and this gentleman up. And he was telling me, that he had some connections over at Rap A Lot and things of that nature. And so, man, we would go around to different studios in the city. And, man, we would link up with all types of individuals, man. And then essentially one day he and I he took me to meet Mathew Knowles. He told me, hey, man, I know this guy. He has his daughters, they sing, and he's got this group. And I was like, okay. And he was like, man, they're bad. You're a hell of a writer. We produce together, man. I think we can go over here and make something happen. So, I figured, hey, what we got to lose, man? We were young, bro. We was just trying to get in the game. We didn't care, dude. And so from there, man, he and I went over and he introduced me to Mathew. And then from there, man, just a lot of things started to connect musically. And I just started to meet a whole lot of different people. Like I say, man, entertainment, it's funny, Houston being so big, but it just seemed like the game in Houston was so small back then because everybody knew everybody.
So let's back up a little bit. You mentioned Rap A Lot.
Uh-huh.
Now, back then, we all know that if you mention Rap a Lot, everybody kind of like, hey man, I don't know if you want to do business over there, dog. You know, but
Yeah.
then
You might
Jay
get your
Prince,
ass whooped.
they
Before
talk
that
about-
was Death Row, that was Rap a Lot.
exactly. Before there was Death Row, you know,
it was Rap a Lot.
like-
Rap a Lot was the real
everybody was
Death
like,
Row.
man, you know, especially if you like from South Park or somewhere else, you know.
Yeah.
Hey man, I don't know if you want to mess with them Rap a Lot dudes, man. Them dudes there, man. You know, you heard them stories in the industry, you know what I'm saying, about dudes getting their ass whooped and all kinds of shit. So dudes
Hey,
was
before that was
Suge
Suge Knight, that was
Lil
Jay
J.
Prince,
Yeah.
Lil J. So did you hear any stories back then that kind of shied you away from Rap a Lot, or did you just kind of just connect with Mathew?
Well, you know, at the time, man, Rap a Lot, they had a studio, man, which was a very unassuming studio. I forget the exact street it was off of, but man, it was back. It looked like it was a professional building, but you know, you couldn't really tell what was in there. And so it was a really good place at the time to go and just work out beats and you know, lyrics. And it was so competitive, man. And the cats that we knew and that we ran into, it really was all about respect. You know what I mean? You just couldn't run up on a cat talking to him any kind of way. Like, there's a code amongst men. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you don't just run up in here like you running everything, saying, you know, talking sly at the mouth. Y'all know how we do in the H, man. I'm sure it's like that everywhere, but it's, boy, you don't play those games.
Well,
man, bro.
From what I understand, back then, you know, it was different. And then, of course, you know, as the game progressed,
right?
You know, we all learned different methods. But you know, we from Texas, and you know, we country boys. So respect is the number one thing. You know what I mean? And that's what we preach. And a lot of them up north, Midwest, you know, they came down south and they learned some valuable lessons. Let's just say that. About respect, you know, about talking out the side of your mouth and talking to people any kind of way. We don't, you know, we Southern boys, we might be slow to some, but we quick to act.
Hey, that's just facts. and you know, we're the type too that we don't particularly get out and just really start a whole lot of hoopla. You know what I mean? Like we're in our corner, we stay out the way. Yeah, but if you address us, we gonna deliver the mail. That's
exactly. So we understand cats like James Prince, because we from Houston, we from Texas, so we know the methods and how he moves. A lot of our uncles and grandpas move that same way. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead and get to Mathew, man. So how did you end up connecting with Mathew and you know what happened with that situation?
At the time, the gentleman and I, we were just moving around town, you know, trying to find a way to connect. He somehow had met Mathew and the girls at that time, young ladies at that time, and his family, and took me over. We met, we sat down, talked. You know, Mathew at the time, Mathew was very determined. Mathew had a specific goal at that time. And so he was really trying to put a team together around the girls. And I mean, this guy had the setup right there at home. You know, he had the designer and everything else, and Tina, and then he had, you know, himself with, you know, he really had something in his hands. And obviously, from all that the girls had done at that time, people were interested. And so, you know, he you know, liked what I had to offer, and you know, I liked what he had on the table at the time. And so, you know, we linked up, and I just started showing up at Mathew's house, man, working all the time, you know. So
for those who don't know, we're talking about Mathew Knowles, the father of Beyonce Knowles.
Absolutely.
Phaz Carter now. Beyonce Carter. And the girls he's talking about, they were named Girls Time back then, right?
That is correct, yeah.
All right. You wanted to say something? Let me go ahead and give up.
No, I was just gonna ask you, at the time, were you trying to focus on being a producer or more of an artist, vocalist type of cat?
More of a writer and producer. I've always been the type. I did that. I was essentially the go-to guy, man, from middle school on up for production and lyric and writing. I was doing a lot of that, and that's what I was trying to focus on at that time. That's where I felt that I had the most to offer. I've just never really been this cat about being out front. Oftentimes those of us who have these leadership qualities, we really like to just get amongst the people, and we forge ahead together. But in some instances you need individuals to get out front. And so that was my thing. I wanted to stay in the background, just really kind of work with talent, mold talent, and build talent through the music, the writing, and production, and so forth.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Phaz, Mr. David Ruffin. Otis, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Otis, ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. We're going to change the name.
So you with Mathew now, trying to help produce the girls, get in, family. How is it that you start singing? Because we know the story. I was there, but our audience don't know. So how in the world did you get into the whole artistry of vocalist, being a vocalist and singing and shit?
Man, that's another one of those things. If you know Mathew Knowles back then, and I still believe he's this way today. It's just something about he really has it in his head what he wants to do. So he's putting these puzzle pieces together. And, Mathew already knew what he had in me. And then he already knew he had, what he had in the group. And so, you look up and he's like, oh, well, let me just put these two pieces together. And then you get in this chance meeting with individuals. I wouldn't even call it a chance meeting because it was, it was scheduled or whatever, but that's really, the gist of it. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to have these guys come over and you're going to come over and, things like that. I'm laughing because, man, I can kind of hear it in his voice in my head, man, because that's just how he was. He'd be putting these two pieces together, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, well, why don't we all come together as a group,
So in case y'all don't know, Carlos and me were in the R&B group that is signed to Mathew Knowles' management company. That's how I came into contact with him. Yeah. And the story he's describing, or rather explaining, is the story that we talking about. We're gonna have a episode that's all.
I just want to say they messed up my whole life, these niggas.
Hey, man,
I just want to say, I gotta say it, because if I don't say it, I'm gonna hold on to it. They messed up my whole life. Cutter too, because Cutter would have been involved.
We're not going to get into that.
Now I'm gonna leave it alone.
Because I was supposed to be the real lead singer of Adagio. They didn't believe in me. That's why my brother Ephraim Acapella, whatever he called himself now, he didn't ever bring me around because he knew I could sing better than him.
Hey, guess what? They kicked me out the group. They said I was too much trouble.
Hey, this is what we gotta do. We gotta get OG. OG, man, you gotta heal from this, bro. You gotta heal, bro. OG been saying forever, hey, they messed up my life. You know, that one preacher that he got the same sermon. That's OG. Hey, they messed up my life.
You know you fucked up, right? You done
fucked up, man. That's OG.
You know you fucked up, right? You could have been Janet Edge, goddamn.
He looking like the dark skinned Herb guy that's still complaining about
Ashanti. Hey, y'all listen, everybody. I love these brothers, man. These are my brothers forever, even though they fucked up. But it's okay.
So all jokes aside, I want to stay right here for a minute. Okay. Because this is very important part of this chapter, because you had an opportunity to see one of the world's biggest stars at her pre-peak.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to touch on this because a lot of people don't know. You were there to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson had Joe Jackson. Michael was drilled. He had a drill sergeant for a daddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You saw Mathew in those girls firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
He also saw Mathew and those girls firsthand. Do you feel like Mathew was that version of Joe Jackson to Beyonce and those girls?
I don't feel like that because I believe you had to be there to see it. The ladies at that time, they had this desire for this. I say this everywhere I go, even with Mathew. Mathew had a vision in his head. Mathew, he was literally on task to make the ladies larger than, at the time for him, it was during his era, the Supremes, etc. And there was a work ethic in that family. I mean, those people could not have gotten where they got, with what they had even before the girls, even before music, without a particular work ethic. If you've never been in entertainment or if you've never been in a situation where you really had to get after it to get what you wanted, you would look at it that way. And I think Mathew saw what it was going to take for those ladies to be successful in this particular business of entertainment. And, I think a lot of people would say, hey, he was a little too hard on them. And I don't particularly believe he was too hard on them at the time that we were doing it. It didn't seem like it was too much to me because I had such a strong work ethic as well. The thing was, you just didn't realize, because when you were singing growing up in church, etc., no one ever really said, hey, man, we are having too long of rehearsals. We staying out too late going to church services, etc. And then the people who were saying that, of course, weren't involved. But the family in it of itself was a very interesting dynamic anyway when it came to what they were doing professionally. If you were around them, you could see how they could separate the personal from the professional. It was a very interesting dynamic, man. Right. Even when my parents went over with me, we were going to sit down and talk with Mathew about contractual things. It was just a very interesting dynamic. It was interesting how they could turn, from the personal to the professional, just even the way the girls had a freedom that they had in the professional aspect of it. To be able to speak their minds as artists and so forth. And Mathew nor Tina not really get, in the space that even for me personally, man, if we had to switch that up in my home and we're talking about some stuff, oh man, I would have got slapped a few times, bro. You ain't gonna talk to me like that, that kind of thing. But I don't personally, I don't believe he was looking back, like I said at the time, when you're looking at work ethic, because he and I actually got some of that as well, man. Rehearsals were brutal.
Oh yeah.
But man, I mean, when I look back at that stuff, what it made us into, it was necessary. Mm-hmm. It was necessary for us vocally.
So especially the dancing part, because he couldn't dance.
He definitely was choir boy.
Was not the word dance in the group.
Who was it? Joe. Joe looked like Joe looked like he had no rhythm. His brother.
Hey, Joe had no rhythm. Joe couldn't even hold it to. Joe couldn't even dance at all. Period.
He gonna watch this.
Oh yeah, Phaz gonna be on.
Joe, it's all in love. Joe, it's all in love. Okay. It's true. You couldn't dance. We know. Now you're a bodybuilder. Right Build here. That up, baby.
We're gonna stay here a minute. Okay. Because I want to get into this too. LaToya Luckett recently did a podcast with Tank and Jay Holiday. Mm-hmm. R&B Money. Shout out to R&B Money.
R&B Money.
And she said she saw as a young child, as a young girl, the drive and the will of Beyonce, that she was doing things that they weren't doing. She was practicing harder. She was writing music. She was determined more than the other girls. She saw that work ethic. Like she really described it.
Yeah.
Did you also, E? I'm gonna ask you the same thing because y'all both were around. E and Phaz, y'all were there. Did y'all also see that work ethic from Beyonce?
Yeah. I'll take it first, E, man. That was just something about her, man. And this is not to take anything from any of the other ladies. I mean, even Solange, because Solange was in the background then as well. But Beyonce, there was just something, I don't know what it was, man. You know how some people just have that it? Like, you know, it was crazy how even there was a particular song that I wrote for them at the time. And I remember when I was teaching it to the ladies at that time, it was amazing to me how quickly they caught on to it. But there were things that you could tell Beyonce just had things in her mind musically that she was already thinking about how she was going to do things. And like, just, man, watching them rehearse and watching her want to continue and to get the things right, it was really crazy how crazy her drive was then, man. I mean, like, at the time they had we all had a vocal coach, David. His name was David, right? I want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah, man. It was David Brewer.
Yeah, David Brewer, man. And just watching them in rehearsals with David, and it was crazy, man. She really did. LaToya's not lying. She had it, man.
Yep, definitely. I concur. I mean, just you know the difference between you and someone else, and she was, what, 5 years younger than us or so? They were younger than us, so you could tell that she was just groomed for success. So, I mean, you already, I already knew. Just knew.
You just knew I knew it.
I remember y'all bringing home their demo tape, and I remember he was like, "Hey, man, you know, listen to this whenever you get a chance." And I remember hearing them singing a cappella, "Ain't No Sunshine."
Oh, man.
And when I heard her, I'm like, who?
No doubt. Yeah.
And the vocal arrangements.
Yeah.
The harmonies. I was like, wait, these girls are how old?
Exactly. The maturity.
Somebody got that demo tape right now. You or E maybe have that demo tape. And if y'all were to play that for their fans right now, they would be like, "Oh, wow, okay."
Oh, they would know.
So my first time hearing them, they was on Star Search.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Yeah. That girl
the maturity in their voices at that time, bro.
At that time, right?
It's just crazy, man. It's like, what? Yeah, crazy.
Shout out to H-Town for all this talent that we produce to the world. This is what we contribute to the world. So let's move forward. E, what you got?
No, I was just saying that it's nice, reminiscing about the success stories, the Beyonce, Destiny's Child, Mathew, and then we have you in this damn group now. So you went from Nacogdoches, going to college, Grambling, getting to Houston, chasing your dream as a writer, producer, and then you get hoodwinked, bamboozled into transforming from a producer writer for the girls at the time, Girls Time, will in the future become Destiny's Child. But he's put you into a group. Did you want to become a singer? Did you want to be a lead singer? How did you feel about all of a sudden being thrusted into this 5-member group?
It was definitely not in my cards. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things where you look at the situation and you're like, well, this is essentially what I've done all of my childhood. You know, I always found myself in situations where it was like, hey, you're going to get in this, you're going to lead. You know, all the times that I was writing and producing for other people, it would end up that way. I would always end up being like a member of the group, or I'd be someone featured with the group or something like that. So, you know, I get in the group and at the time, you know, it sounded like a good opportunity. So it's like, all right, well, let's just see how this thing plays out.
So let's fast forward, because all our viewers, the story about the group, the segment is called "If Almost Was an R&B Group." So we go into detail, explicit detail about the experiences of that group, Adagio, how it got formed, Mathew Knowles, what happened with the group, all of that. So that'll be coming. We're not going to focus on that. We want to talk about what happened after the group. So Carlos Phaz Huey ends up becoming a solo artist. You know, you don't have a group no more.
Right.
What happens after you leave the group? How did you become, you know, a dedicated solo artist at that time?
At the time, leaving the group, you know, I was in a situation where the label that we were with at the time, they were interested in me as a solo artist. And that wasn't particularly new to me. I had been in situations like that before. Even before I got in the group, you know, Mathew at the time had me in talks with one of the writers, Daryl Simmons, and some other people. We were looking at some different scenarios and things that he wanted to do possibly for me as a solo artist. You know, which at the time I was like, nah, that's not really what I want to do. After the group, Jam Down Entertainment at the time is looking to do something. You know, they like the talent, they like what I have to offer. And so, you know, then became the work on things as a solo artist. And I found myself with the homie Don Keke, lilkeke, Don Keke, my brother, my Aries brother, I should say. Key just had a thing, man, where he liked what I had to offer, and pretty much at that time just became his go-to guy for a lot of the hooks on a lot of his music and a lot of the hard-head music.
R&B artist, you know what I'm saying, the hardest. I do it for the ladies, you know what I'm saying, I do all the hooks on all the tracks.
And next thing you know, man, I was linking up with a lot of people. And so the more I did a lot of the hooks and the features, the more the idea of a complete project as a solo artist, you know, just really started to make sense. Like, okay, this he's up next, you know, and let's see what we can do with it. And so that's kind of how that played out.
When the final project was done, and shout out to lilkeke,
for sure.
That was one of the, I think that was his first actual solo project. Away from the Screwed Up Clique. He was still a part of the Screwed Up Clique, but that was his actual first solo project.
For sure.
And you saw the impact that album did. Because let's talk about this. First of all, our viewers, if you don't know Texas back then and still Texas now, we didn't need to go gold by selling records everywhere else. We would go gold and platinum in Texas, Louisiana by itself.
Facts.
So when you saw the impact that album did, and you were on the album with the production and the vocals, hooks, songs, how did you feel? What was the feeling for you?
I mean, you know, at the time, it's when you're involved in something like that, you're in it, you know, and you are kind of taking it in, but you know, at the same time, you're in it. So, you know, you're just moving, you're just trying to make sure that you're giving significance to what you're doing. And a lot of times that didn't really hit me, man, until we would go out and perform. Oh man, when we would Oh my God, bro, the love that people showed. You know how you thinking really you just you just got off of a shift or something and you went in and the cast was like, hey, you got to come in here and put this hook down. All right, cool. And we got a show this weekend. Oh my God, all right, cool. And then you're doing that work, but boy, you hit that road, my G, man, and boy, that and man, the place would go nuts, man. I mean, everywhere we went. I mean, we were really just there to do a job, you know what I'm saying? Because we were all young, like, yo, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get this money, right. We're gonna safely get out of here and get home, you know what I'm saying? Right. But man, the impact, man, just, dude, it was crazy, man. I'll tell you a funny story, man. One time, I took my wife with me.
Uh-oh.
Bro, my wife, man, all of that, and my wife was just like, yo, to see those women in there singing the songs and rubbing all on themselves, you know. She's like, I don't think I need to be a part of that ever again. And you know, it's crazy, man. You really do see the impact of that, and you're just like, oh, yo, we really had some significance, man. And people still stop me today, man. They're like, yo, you don't even understand how that music, you know, touched or impacted me. You thinking, dang, I ain't even know the streets was feeling it like that.
So Phaz, what you don't know is that song spans throughout generations.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you a story. So my sons is 24, 22, 19. And when I turned that bounce and turn on the house, on a Saturday when we clean up, everybody bouncing and turning. And they wasn't even born then. They wasn't even born then. They singing bounce and turn like they was there with us.
That's dope, man. Wow, that's
well,
crazy.
you know, I mean, I'm a young up and coming producer. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make my way, and of course I had to name drop a couple of times and be everybody, you know, bumping that little Keke, and when that bounce and turn out. Oh, you know that's my homeboy, right? You know what I'm saying? That's my big brother right there. That's my big brother. I know, man. You don't know that, man. Bro.
No, I
call
really
that nigga right now.
No, for real.
I'm serious.
No, I don't have your number. No, I don't have your number and shit. I gotta call E to get your number. So, like,
man.
Hey, I call that nigga right now. Nigga, you tripping.
Man, I'm the same way.
I call that nigga for a hook right now. You want a hook? I got to get paid over here for the hook right now. You tripping.
I'm the same way.
That's my homie.
Every time the song is in my head forever. I mean, I don't know. I tell Phaz, he don't understand. I could be sitting on the toilet.
Everybody got Hey, when they said we was gonna have you on the show, I'm driving over here listening to Bounce and Turn, getting hyped in the mud. Like it's going on right now.
Everybody know that Bounce and Turn.
Hey, like Phaz, for real. Without you on the hook, I don't think that song does what it do.
It don't.
It just don't.
Hey, I appreciate that. I take that as a compliment, my G.
That's facts, baby.
Yeah.
That's facts.
So
anybody else say that? I'm like,
my question is, did they not hear that as a single, as the next single for lilkeke, or did they release it as a single and it didn't do anything?
Man, you know, I think back then, I think PAT and Vince, you know, they had a goal, and then also, you know, Key as an artist, he had a goal as well. Because, man, don't get it twisted. We were young. Key was young then. But, man, the boy was a visionary from jump. And he really knew which way he wanted to go, you know, and he had things that he was trying to do as it was pertaining to him, you know, and Herschelwood and so forth. And that was understandable. But it's things like Bounce and Turn. And, you know, he and I were talking about this one day, and I was like, dude, you know, we have so many songs together that we have albums together. Like, it's crazy that people hear what they hear on his projects, but the amount of music that this guy and I have together is crazy because we just had that type of connection. And so with that song, I think he knew at that time that it was just gonna be this classic that it didn't even have to be a single, you know, because that happens in music, man. You could have a song where soon as someone comes out on stage and they do that song, it has never seen radio, but the crowd is singing it lyric for lyric, man.
Lyric for lyric, right?
Yeah,
right.
Because he dropped that South Side, that shit went bananas.
Oh man, it went corn. It was just crazy how crazy that went.
Well, first of all, shout out to Keke. Don't Mess with Texas was one of my favorite albums.
Yeah,
because
that's that Keke the Don, baby. That Keke the Don.
It really put Houston on the map.
Sure.
The beginning of Houston, and a lot of people don't realize this, that you were a part of the beginning before there was Mike Jones, before there was Slim Thug, before there was Powerwall. That you were a part of a movement.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
Houston was. Okay, now we're next up. Yeah, we had the Ghetto Boys. We had Big Mike. We had Scarface. But now we have the young people in the 90s that were coming up and creating a new trend of music that, you know, okay, oh man, the world about to hear this. And by the time that Mike Jones, Slim Thug, they didn't know that, hey, Mike Jones, Slim Thug, they are actually biting a style that the South Side made.
It was a product of the screwed up clique.
Product of the exactly.
Yeah.
But, and you know what? I gave props to Paul Wall when he did Drink Champs. Shout out to Drink Champs too. Shout out to because he actually admitted that they got the style from the South Side, the screwed up clique.
Oh yeah,
lilkeke, Fat Pat, Big Hawk, all the screwed up clique. They got the style from the South Side. So okay, they took that style and they took it nationwide. Shout out to them, taking it nationwide. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, Big Hawk. Rest in peace, Big Mo. Shout out to screwed up clique, man. Like we were in the South Side celebrating what was about to become the H-Town anthems. You know what I mean?
Hey man, that was a soundtrack of high school, baby. That's what that was.
I'm telling you, for everybody.
There was such
draped up, dripped out. Know what I'm talking about? I jam that right now.
Hey man, that was such an energy, Cutter, to speak to what you're saying. At that time, there was such an energy with those young cats coming in, and in particular that movement. And that is one thing I will also give the Paul Wall boy. Everything that I've seen him do in the interviews, he's always talked about, which I feel the same way. You know, Key is my brother, but I've always felt that the dude was just musically genius because his lifestyle is really his lifestyle. And then this cat has such a vernacular and so forth musically. It just, I mean, think about it, man. Back then, if you weren't saying stain on your brain or stain on the brain, like just the things that these cats were saying and the things that they were doing musically, man, it was nuts. And it was bringing in this fresh vibe. And, you know, I guess now that you say that, I mean, I never really looked at it like that, you know, because at the time we really were just doing what we loved, man, and just trying to make some moves and be of significance. But like I say, man, all these years later, you're still seeing that stuff living, and you're like, wow, it's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
And you know what's so crazy about it is Toby taking it to the next level. He bringing them all of them back.
Shout out to Toby.
Shout out to Toby. Hey, let me tell you something. That new joint with him and Keke on it, fire.
Yeah.
Him and Paul Wall, fire.
Get out.
I'm just waiting to bring Slim Thug on. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm loving the fact that, you know, they're reaching back to the pioneers of it.
Yeah.
Because H-Town, we've always had our own style. Shout out to UGK. Shout out to Bump B with the Trill Burgers. I haven't tasted one yet, but you know what I mean? I've had the opportunity to work with UGK, but I've had the opportunity to work with Pimp C. The opportunity to work with lilkeke, and he actually, I'm gonna tell you about this funny story. We were working on a compilation, and man, my boy had a a studio in Sharpstown Mall. This is before it turned to L whatever it is right now. LX Negro. LX Negro. But we had a studio and I was engineering and producing over there. And one of the I forget this cat's name, man. But he did a compilation with like all the Screwed Up Click, Hawk, Keke, all of them came in. When the Keke came in to record, I was recording them. And I wanted to say so bad, man. I didn't want to, fan out and be like, man, you work with my homeboy, Phaz. But, as engineers and producers, we had to keep our composure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, we don't fan out. That's a rule. That's an unwritten rule in music industry that you don't fan out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, you here to work. Yeah. Do your work. And this and that, but at the same time, I wanted to be like, my nigga, look, I work with this and I'm like, nah. Look,
don't do it.
Do your job.
Don't do it.
Goddamn job. Record the vocals and sit your motherfucking ass down. You know what I mean? But I've been in so many situations like that as an engineer and a producer to just not fan out. You know what I mean? And one of those things is not to fan out. So, man, shout out to you. Shout out to Key for setting that trend, setting those trends for H-Town music to see the light of day, man. Because a lot of people that wouldn't even know who Screwed Up Click was if it wasn't for lilkeke and you, and shout out to y'all, man. Flowers, for real.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
So you so moving forward, the success of Keke's album, did you want to start on your own solo project to piggyback off of that?
Yeah, that was the plan. The plan was actually I was working on a lot of that stuff as well while we were working on a lot of Keke's stuff, and just trying to put together what type of product we were going to bring forward to the people. And at the time, the label had one direction, and me as an artist, I had another direction. And it's just something about me. I've always been this way. If I'm going to do it, I want to be authentic when I do it. So if it's going to be this project that has me on it, then I want the project to be about the things that I can authentically speak about, and I didn't want to be this artist who had to fit into a mold that was going to take me too far outside of who I am already. And those guys at the time, they had a lot of things that were working for them as far as rap and so forth was concerned. And so, we got to where the project was there. They wanted me to work with other producers, etc. And it was important to me at that time for me to make my introduction into the solo world as myself. And I say this respectfully, but a lot of the cats that I saw come after I had finished the album, we had it ready and we were trying to decide what we were going to do, you would then see cats who were coming with other labels that basically, had these same ideas like, hey, I'm going to self-produce this. Because you got to realize at that time, it was not as popular for people to bite on individuals who could do everything they needed to do themselves. That's why you had cats like, Prince and individuals of that nature. They were these anomalies, so to speak, because they could get in a studio and do everything. And that's what I wanted to do, because there was a direction that I had as an artist. And I believe, PAT and Vince, they had another direction. And then I think it also got to the place where it was like, okay, maybe this is, a little beyond what we, want to do and can do at this time. And so, that's kind of where things started to slow up with the project coming out. So
I do remember looking into, I want to say lilkeke's CD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And seeing that up and coming Phaz album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yeah, that's facts. That was
right.
It was a couple of projects we did that in. We at that time that's how you did it. Coming soon, you put that on the inside.
Yeah, you put that on the inside of the CD. Yeah. Look.
Yeah. And it's crazy you bring that up. There's an individual now. It's a cat. I forget his name, man, but he is an collector of things from that era, like music, all of that. Man, this cat has stuff. He's got posters. You didn't know this stuff existed. And I remember it being tagged on Instagram, and I forget what it says. I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, basically like one of the best artists, on the label that never came out, and he tagged Phaz and when I saw it, I hit him in DMs and I was like, yo, man, I appreciate the love. And he was like, you don't understand how bad I was waiting on this project to drop. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Phaz, you didn't want to be Danny Boy, huh? You wanted to be your own man like Tank. Because Tank talked about this on Drink Champs.
Yeah.
He had a conversation. He says that he's the only dude on the earth right now that can go in the studio, write it, produce it, play it, and make it happen. I said, well, you didn't know Phaz, goddammit.
Yeah, it's crazy. There were obviously a lot of us in the wings waiting for that, man. At the time, bro, I really only needed Mark, which was Mark Kidney. Mark was an engineer, man. He was a rocker type cat, man. Mark had the long, silky hair, and man, I could just tell him, hey, man, do this for me, do that for me, and he would make it happen. I didn't have to do that because Mark had it covered. But man, I could just go in, man, and make it happen. And hey, I salute the brother Tank, man. I'm telling you, man, back then, that wasn't, cats didn't really want that. I don't know why, but they didn't want that, man.
Well, you mentioned Prince, and one thing that I recognized about you as a producer, and the fact that you want to produce your own project and all that stuff. Many the record labels, they fight against that because they know they have to pay you more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, Tank said they made new rules for him and R. Kelly. That's what he said on Drake Champs.
They knew because they knew they would have to give you more money.
Yeah.
So they would do what Puffy did. Shout out to P. Diddy with his bitch ass. They would sign producers to a contract and make them in-house producers.
Yeah.
To where they're publishing, half they publishing automatically came to the label.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I learned that because I got signed to the same deal two times.
2 times.
2 times.
Yeah.
But had I known what I know, now, I would have kept doing beats, because what I've started to realize is that all the hot beat makers would just sell the label that I was signed to. They would sell them beats.
Yeah.
And I was the in-house producer / engineer. And I was like, wait, they not signed? Like, why do they get to sell beats to y'all? They're freelance.
Right.
And I really started to understand the industry until I had subpar management to figure out that, hey, that is the best way to be.
Yeah.
Is to be a freelance producer, because you can tell beats to anybody.
Facts.
Well, I didn't know that back then. So when you're a hot producer, songwriter, and a songwriter, and they sign you to a publishing deal and a production deal, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed either way. Because go ahead, Orlando.
So Phaz, I got a question, Phaz.
Okay.
So when you gonna release this damn music? Because I want to hear it too, damn it. I was waiting too.
Hey man, it's crazy, bro. That's
hey, you know what? Me and E was just talking about this.
We always talk about it. I said H-Town Trip. Let's get it, baby. Don't be trying to take my damn idea.
I'm sorry.
Don't be acting like your brother.
I'm sorry. Dropping several compilations of music that's just been sitting in the archives. Just drop
All I want is 10%.
Just put it out.
Gonna go to my cigar company.
Yeah. Hey, that boy OG, he trying to get it any way and every way. Yeah.
Every way, baby. We got to make it happen. I'm like, Don King. Let's get it.
They say R&B is dead. I don't believe it is because everything derives from R&B.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Everything.
You got some other. Let's continue.
Hey, Phaz, y'all got to stop playing around, dog. Let's get this H-Town drip going, man. Let's get it. Y'all playing. Listen. This is my thing. You three niggas got so much talent, and y'all bullshitting. Let's get this money.
Come on, manager. Go on, managers then.
I'm managing it right there. I'm trying to get y'all together. The Daggio song. Goddamn, he got about 20 archives. Cool Cutter got about 500 songs in archives. Goddamn, he got another 500. We can make some money.
Yeah, definitely. Boy.
And shit, I can't imagine how many songs you got, Phaz. You playing. You three niggas is playing.
It's coming.
Hey, look, Phaz, I read something that you said you did on one of your, I don't know if this is your management that put it out, that you just didn't want to be like these other quote unquote fake individuals that was, putting out music. Like, and I definitely understood where you were coming from, even if that was just something you said back in the day.
Yeah.
But I know you're serious about your music.
Right.
So at this point, like, are you focused on management, or are you also trying to still produce music?
At this point, I'm focused on management. Man, for a while, I actually had gotten away from the game of entertainment, just totally, man. I got to this place where, there was so much going on, and I had access to so much, man. It was about to take me under, bruh. So, I had to just walk away and get myself back together, get back on top. As myself, and just, because, man, it's interesting when you go from this creative who then learns the business side of your craft.
Right.
And, if you don't go into that thing with the right mentality, it can break you. And you can lose yourself. I still say this. I said it back then. I say it now. That's why I believe you find a lot of individuals who get into their crafts. They get into a business of their craft, and then they essentially lose themselves. And that's where you get a lot of the heavy drug usage, et cetera, because, this thing, it doesn't look to you as it did back when you were doing it for the love, et cetera.
Right.
And then you really do learn that it is show business. And these days I'm more focused on management. I still love music. For a while with dirtyones.com, DRTYONES.com, I was focused on bringing forward the new talent, but just in a different way, because, man, once I got into management, it was crazy to me how many people I saw out in the business who didn't know the business, And that was so scary for me. And I was like, well, I can't manage everyone, I did get into some consulting, just trying to guide and direct some people in the business. So with Dirty Ones, I was trying to introduce new talent. I feel I've always been able to put my finger on the next wave or the next talent. I've just always had that. And so that was my way of giving back in that manner, and so then it just got to where Big Skinny and the comedy and the acting for him, that had just become my focus. For a while, I had a few other individuals that I was managing. There was a rapper, E West, out of H-Town. E West, he's really talented, man, and it's just it's just one of those things. And I had an R&B singer as well, Kiera Craft, and just at the time, a lot of things were going on, man, and at the time, my father's health was real bad, and I had gotten to where I really needed to step back. I had to change my priorities because it just looked like at the time we were going to lose my father. And so I had to focus on home. And then once, things started to straighten out there, my guy, Big Skinny, he came back. He was like, listen, we cannot let this go, And so he was like, I told you I'm going to ride with you to the end. Whenever you need to come back, I'm ready. And so we just stuck with it, man. And we've been having some fun, dude. This dude is really, really funny, man. It's funny to me how our society and culture is like, we all know you can be famous and not be significant. Okay.
Right.
You can be famous and just have, essentially the right team around you to give you the product or the project you need in order to, move on and do some things, do some numbers and things like that. And this guy, he's up there with the best of them, man. And we're just taking our time to get him positioned properly and have a good foundation, because as I tell him a lot, man, take it from me. You don't want that light on you until you are ready. Because, man, boy, when this celebrity and fame light hits you, bro, it's ooh. Oh my God, bro!
A lot of people, you see a lot of people who really think they know what it is. Until I used to tell artists all the time when I had my own production company, behind the scenes is the best scene.
Facts, Cutter.
They don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, look. You think you want that spotlight?
Ooh-wee, okay. Hey,
okay.
The lights gonna test you.
I'm telling you, it takes a lot.
That light gonna test you.
Look, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna step off of that one, man.
This is why I remain in the back. Like, I will always
them lights is bright.
Hey, they are OG.
Because your life becomes different.
Yeah, man.
Like the things that you do in private becomes public.
I mean, man, every little thing, man. You can post a period on social media, but when you famous, that'll change your whole life. They like, oh, he posted a period. You know what that means? You're like, what?
Everybody think they want it. Everybody think they want that fame.
Ooh.
Until they have that fame.
Hey,
and you don't realize that the money and the fame don't add up.
They don't.
You don't add up.
Because you have no more privacy. Look, none, zero. It's over with.
I told a very known celebrity who was talking shit to me. I said, look, I can go to Walmart right now. You can't. That's a
true statement.
Yeah, facts, man.
I'd go to Walmart right now and ain't nobody gonna fuck with me.
Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you,
you gonna need security.
One cat in the R&B world, I heard this in an interview, man, and he was saying that he liked where he was in his career, which was Joe Thomas. And
shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe, man. Oh man, shout out to Joe for real. And, for real.
Shout out to Joe.
He was basically talking about, hey man, I can go out right now. I can hit a mall. I can hit a strip center. I can hit any of that. And he was like, and I'm good. And he was like, a lot of people cannot say that in this business, And I was like, I don't think people understand the gift in that alone, bruh. You know what I'm saying? To be able to go to dinner and not just have things just get out of hand, bro. Hey, bro, that's a serious.
Hey, man.
When you can't take your child to Chuck E. Cheese.
Hey, bro. Listen to me.
When you just can't be a father and just have a good time.
Like, I just want to take my child to Chuck E. Cheese and ride on the games and play games with my child.
Nah, man.
And I don't have to sign no autographs or nothing like that. I have security around, and we have to have a private sector, or if I got to spend my own money to rent it out, so my child can have a good time.
Hey, man,
and they don't have. Look, I have to pay their parents to bring their children after hours.
Man,
look, come on, man. Like, people don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't have to take my child to Six Flags and rent it out to spend my money. for a private sector, so we don't have to have paparazzi and all these people. You really want that?
Nah, bro.
Like you want to be able to go to Papados and go sit at the bar or sit at a table and just eat dinner with your family and not have nobody come up to you. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. Can I please get a picture real quick, bro? I'm eating with my family. I don't think people
understand how much privacy is such a plus.
Nah, man, they don't.
Yeah, it's just a plus.
Nah, they don't. You know, because we're a culture and a society, man, where attention. That's the drug.
That's it. Now,
no, I don't want none of that. I'm good. I don't like that drug.
I've never been an individual for attention. That's kind of how things played out for me, even with coming into the group, etc. I moved by significance, right? At the time, Mathew was like, "Hey, this is what's needed here, and you fit that." And for me, that was significance. I've always been a dude that was about servitude, if you will. Like, all right, man, well, if we can all come together, we can make this happen, the better. And that's what it was. I know a lot of cats today, and even then, who really would have just wanted that position just to be able to have the attention. And, man, that you got to be careful about attention, man, because it's a drug that you will never get enough of its high, ever.
Right.
Never. And all attention ain't good attention.
Oh, let me tell you, bro. Ooh-wee. Let me tell you, it is not. And so, I mean, bro, I love the fact that now I can move amongst the city and I can go to an event and I can just sit off in the corner. And you might have that one individual, and they'll come by and they're like, bounce and turn. And that's it. You know what I mean? You love that, but man, boy, cats was on.
The DJ, you in the club and the DJ shout when they playing bounce and turn. Oh, my boy, right here in the hood.
Yeah, all right, G. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Oh, you was just the one singing that song?
Yeah.
It's hard being a celebrity, man.
Hey, I'm good, man.
It's hard being a celebrity. God damn.
I'm good, man. I feel bad for my dude, Big Skinny, man, because I be throwing him in front of all kinds of people and everything, man. I'm like, well, I'm so glad you are the comedian. Man, I'm glad.
So Phaz, tell us more about Big Skinny, man. What kind of comedy he does? Tell us about that, man. Talk about that. Shout out to Big Skinny, goddamn.
Big Skinny, shout out, man.
Shout out Big Skinny.
Hey, we got to have Big Skinny on the show. What's up?
Man,
yeah, we got to get him on so we can have us cracking over here.
Yeah, y'all will love that, man. Dude is just raw, man. He's just one of those cats that I have never seen anybody who could just find funny in everything. Like, it makes no sense. And I mean, this dude, I just remember times we were going places and he just has this persona, this thing about him that to him, the moment is really sincere and genuine. But to the people around him, it's like everybody's laughing, and he's looking around like, hey, what's funny? I got to tell this funny story, man. It's great. It's crazy because it's my brother. So one of my brothers passed away, okay? And so he and I, we're at the funeral, and he has a question that he's, essentially asking himself, but he said it out loud. And he said, man, I don't know what they gonna do when they gotta bury me. He was like, I don't even know if I can fit in a casket, bruh. Listen, man, we supposed to be focused on what's going on here at the moment. And he was serious, bruh. I know this guy. He was serious. And everybody around us, man, everybody's in there giggling. They're trying not to laugh out loud. And I was like, say, bro, that's the last time you will go anywhere serious. Like, you just got to stay outside or something, bro. And he was so serious. He was like, nah, bro. He said, have you really thought about that? Like, how they going to fit me in a casket, bro? I can't fit in no thing. I was like, bro. Never mind we're talking about fitting in a casket, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
funeral.
But yeah, man, the dude is the truth, man. I'm telling you, this guy is, just be on the lookout, man. We're coming.
No, we want to get on the show before he blow the hell up.
Right? Yes,
We can say we had him before everybody else had him, damn it.
Exactly. Them yesterday prices.
Yeah.
Them yesterday prices.
For sure.
We want to get when he $3.99. We want to get when he $3.99, damn it.
Before I leave, because I'm about to chime out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
take your old ass to bed, goddamn.
About to be 45.
Man, shut the hell up, goddamn it.
A couple of years away from y'all old ass.
But hey, you only like 2 years older, 2 years younger. My birthday in September, so we gonna rock this motherfucker till the wheels fall off.
Virgos are us. Goddamn.
Yep. Your birthday this next month too.
This on the 12th.
On the 12th, yep. 2nd and the 12th, yep.
Yeah. Hey, look, hey, man, why we ain't going to Vegas?
Hey, listen, man. Listen, Linda. Vegas is dangerous.
Y'all wouldn't do.
Vegas is dangerous.
I ain't never been to Vegas.
You ain't never been? Okay. Oh, okay. Since you ain't never been.
You been to Vegas, Carlos?
Have I been to Vegas, man? I don't remember Vegas.
I mean,
you know what?
Hey, most of us don't remember.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not trying to have no hangover.
So Cutter, this is what we gonna do. Because I'm your big bro. You just let me know when you want to go, and I'm gonna drive up, and we gonna have a good time. We gonna rock this motherfucker till the wheels fall off. I'm gonna take you everywhere you want to go. We gonna go to every strip club they got.
No, look. I'm gonna be asleep. I'm gonna be asleep at 9 o'clock, nigga.
Oh hell no! Vegas don't sleep.
Hey, look. I'm gonna be sleeping in the car on the corner somewhere. Look, I'm gonna need a couple of Red Bulls, some AC pills, some shit like that. I need something.
Really gonna need that.
Because my body is trained to go to bed at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
My body shuts down.
That's East Coast time. Don't worry about it. We on the West Coast.
All right. but Phaz, to end my portion of it, I'm doing a compilation. Orlando made me do it. He forced me to do it. I haven't named it yet, but I definitely have to.
H-Town Drip. That's what it's called, damn it. H-Town Drip.
Volume
and I
1.
want my goddamn 10%.
H-Town Drip Volume 1. I definitely have to get you on this compilation, bro.
Okay.
If I gotta send you a track, I know we don't have to be in the same studio no more, but I would prefer that we do.
Okay.
Because I know music works better that way.
Road trip, baby. Hey, I'm ready.
Hey, look, I love it. I love it when we, but I wanna connect you with some of my people too in H-Town that, I can sing you some of their old music and you're gonna be like, God damn, why these motherfuckers ain't out yet?
Yeah.
But yeah, I work with some people and I'm sure you work with some people, but at the end of the day, I gotta get you on something. You know what I'm saying? On some real shit that I think is way overdue. So we definitely gotta connect on the music level.
For sure.
You know, I got a youngster in my family. He's still in college. He pretend like he a rapper. I say pretend, but the last cut he just dropped is hot. I'm just gonna say that as his father, I say it's hot. Because the other shit he put out, I told him he need to put that shit in the trash can. But the new, hey, I tell him what God love. What you want me to do?
Yeah, I feel I can't lie to him.
No, I can't lie to him. I got a lineage to protect. He can't be putting anything out.
Somebody else will.
Yeah, somebody else will. At least I tell him because I love him. Exactly. But the new stuff I just sent to E, that's hot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send it to you. It's hot. Put that on the compilation album. It's hot.
Okay.
All right. Well, man, look. Man, Carlos, we appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to have you on again.
Yeah.
Man, I look forward to working with you. Yeah.
H-Town Drip coming soon, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do. Concrete Reality TV.
Hey.
Hot in a motherfucking bowl of grits.
Hey, that boy OG, he sound like a different version of Mathew, huh? Like he's like, hey, make sure I get my 10%, man.
I got to keep this cigar business alive.
Look.
Hey, look.
Cutter, what you got?
Man, I'm good, bro. I really appreciate you coming on, Concrete Reality TV.
Yeah. Pleasure,
man, you've been a legend in my eye. for a number of years. If you haven't noticed, I'm sure I haven't had the opportunity to tell you, but I've been looking from afar, and flowers to you, man. You deserve it, bro.
Definitely.
So I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
Salute.
Yeah.
Well, you just heard it, man. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out for future episodes on Houston Hometown Heroes. We got some other great, impactful people coming on. Be sure to like and subscribe. Stop being mad at us. We sorry we pissed you off.
We sorry. We ain't gonna talk about Jesus like that no more.
We out, man.
Y'all right.
Do it.
As you can see, I was raised in the street.